Hello and welcome to the third of four webinars on SkyBox, a true hybrid energy system brought to you by OutBack Power. Please type in any questions that you have as they occur to you, and we will make sure that we have time to address those at the end of the webinar. My name is Bo McGlue, and I'm Senior Product Manager here at OutBack Power, responsible for SkyBox. Thank you all for attending. We are looking forward to walking you through SkyBox installation today. So just to recap, we'll talk a little bit about what SkyBox is and what it does, and then we'll hit SkyBox installation. For more SkyBox resources, you can go to outbackpower.com products, true hybrid energy system SkyBox. And for more webinars, you can go to outbackpower.com resources, OBT training webinars. So what is SkyBox? It's a true hybrid energy management system. Produces 5 kW of power in any direction. And the model that we've released now is a 12240 volt, 60 hertz that is targeted for North America grid-tied residential market. It's resilient, adaptable, simple, and intelligent. What does that mean to us? Provides immediate backup power, supports a generator, it's a durable product that results in fewer service calls, and then if that's required, remote support is enabled and available. It is NEMA 3R, so it's a drop-in replacement for any other inverter that you might have already hung on the wall. And it works with the widest variety of 48 volt batteries out there on the market. And then it's also stackable. So it's a single unit is 5 kW, but you can stack them up to 50 kW, up to 10 units. It's an easy and fast install, as you'll see in the course of this webinar. It's a clean BOS, or balance of systems. Everything comes all in one box. And that load center, or the BOS, comes with the SkyBox, and it's simple to wire and easy to install. High PV voltage input range, 600 volts, and we'll see that in a couple slides. So you should be able to just move over in existing strings to SkyBox. And it's dynamic power management, the ability to import and export power to any of the load ports and to meet new regulatory any new regulatory needs. Physically, SkyBox is a 5-port design, and those are controllable at each connection point. The grid, load, and battery ports are all bidirectional, allowing you to adjust, export at any one of those locations. And then as a future firmware release, we'll support AC coupling on the load port here after we've got the firmware built for stacking. SkyBox applications are time of use energy optimization, supporting non-export or self-consumption, providing net metering with or without backup, and supporting maximum independence. It's designed for multiple profiles, and you can program and set points. You can do the programming and set points according to what's appropriate for your situation. So with respect to battery sizing, you can have daily cycling for self-consumption and time of use, and then set a reserve available for backup for grid outages. Gives you the maximum flexibility to do whatever you need to do for your particular install, your particular application. So specifications. 5 kW in any direction, 12240. Maximum AC input power is 60 amp on pass-through. So if you need a high surge load to be supported, it can come from the grid or from generator. MPPT voltage window from PV, 250 volts all the way up to 600 volts. Battery voltage window range, 42 volts up to 60. So it covers all of your traditional lead acid batteries. Very wide operating temperature range, CEC weighted PV efficiency from PV to the grid over the entire PV voltage window range, 94%. Excellent total harmonic distortion, field upgradable firmware. So anytime there's a new regulatory requirement, new utility rates, for example, those could all be sent via a future firmware update. Non-volatile memory, yes, means that we save all of the graphing and historical data as well as all of your set points and parameters locally on the SkyBox so that the homeowner can view those on the SkyBox. And then of course it's also sent up into OpticsRE so they can view that in the cloud from wherever they choose to. And then from an environmental point of view, it's NEMA 3R. So outdoor rated, you can go ahead and hang SkyBox on the side of your garage. So now we'll cover SkyBox installation. This is a picture that I snapped this morning during our Energy Storage for the Solar Professionals course that's being held in Washington, here in our offices in Arlington this week. And tomorrow is SkyBox Day, and the class, as one of their laboratory exercises, going to hang that brand new SkyBox up on the wall next to the PV rapid shutdown system. So they are super excited about having that opportunity. We'll step through in the course of this webinar all of the things that they're going to do. Before we do that, a brief mention about system sizing on the PV side. Typically, you'd see 9 to 13 panels in either 1 or 2 strings, and it's a single MPPT within SkyBox. Maximum short circuit current is actually 32 amps. So it's typically nominally 20 amps. Maximum input voltage range, 600 volts down to 250. So maximum DC power input is not really applicable with this. You can hang as much PV into SkyBox as you like. It will produce 5 kW. But as long as you stay below 600 volts and put it in 2 strings, you can put as much PV up there as you'd like. Dimensions, SkyBox is 21 inches wide, 9.2 inches deep off of the wall, including the mounting bracket. And when it's hung on the wall, it's a total of 47 inches tall. We've got this handy quick start guide. It's 4 simple pages. It comes in the sundries box that we'll show you in just a moment. And if you need help or any other resources with respect to installation, it's all right there on the quick start guide. Okay. So this is a picture of a distribution center. Your distributor's distribution center probably is a little bit more organized than mine. But we ship to distribution, 4 to a pallet, or singularly 1 via FedEx out to an installer, out to a job site. Included in that shipment box is the system, the inverter, the BOSS, the balance of systems, that's that load center underneath it, and all of the sundries, your wires and your quick start guide and everything like that. So it's a single SKU, everything is all in box, and that box has been designed for ease of unpacking the inverter and installing it on the wall. So we'll show 3 slides here of unboxing it, and then we'll step over to a brief video and we'll show you hanging SkyBox on the wall and step through the rest of the installation steps. With respect to unboxing, I've taken one of those SkyBoxes off the pallet. And then here are 3 pictures of it being unboxed. And because I think it's a good learning tool, I'm showing you somebody who's done the installation already wrong. Shame on that person. Who was that crazy guy who did this wrong? Well, it was me, because I did it on purpose to demonstrate. What you can see in the picture on the left and in the picture in the middle is someone has broken the top open off of that SkyBox box. You can see that the staples are no longer present because someone's pulled the staples out from opening the box. Don't do that. We printed instructions on the top of the box for a reason. We wanted to make sure that you could install it efficiently. So please do not open the box from the top. Cut the band at the bottom of the box. You can see the bands right here at the bottom. Let's see if I can bring up a laser pointer. Goodness, I can. There you go. There's a band, shipping band around the box. Chop that off when you've got it close to the right position. And then lift from the bottom of the box. We'll talk about that in a minute, but you can see on this picture on the right that I've been lifting this box up. Okay, we say cut first. We're talking about cutting the band. You're welcome to invest the time if you want to cut the cardboard as well. You're not going to hurt anything, but it takes more time. We simply meant cut the band. That would be, the strap that would go around there. And when we say lift from the bottom, yes, from an, if you're muscling the SkyBox around in its boxes, you would obviously put your hand under the box to lift. But you've got this handy dandy handle here. So when we say lift from the bottom, we don't mean you have to put your hand under the cardboard. We mean you can lift the top of the box and separate that from the bottom of the box. Okay, here's a quick SkyBox installation and video. I'm going to talk over this guy here because I think I can explain it better than he did. What I've done is I've taken the mounting bracket off of the SkyBox and hung the mounting bracket up on the wall. There's a slot right there where my hand is that is roughly indicating where the SkyBox's screen is located. So you'd like that to be around eye level. And then I've set the top of this mounting bracket up where it's nice and easy for me to reach. Okay, here I've taken the boss out of the packaging. I've opened up the sundries kit and I've installed those fins right there on the back of it. Hang that on the mounting bracket. Check the contents because it's kind of cool to check the contents. Here I'm showing you that you can connect either battery or grid, and that's it, you're done. We'll spend a little more time on that later. Okay, this is me and my applications engineer, Kim Foster, picking up the SkyBox inverter. You'll see what we have in our hands there is 3/4 inch conduit, 2-man lift, bring SkyBox up, drop it right on top of the boss. And then that mass of the SkyBox just holds everything in place there. You can put securing screws on the side, and then there's your 3/4 inch conduit. Okay, I'm gonna wait the extra 22 seconds here to see if there's anything else we're talking about. Oh yes, this guy's pointing out that there's cooling vents that would force hot air or that would blow hot air through those fans up through the top of the SkyBox. And so the other thing you might want to think about with respect to your install is you might want to install SkyBox in such a way at such a height that some curious person doesn't try putting their hands down in the vents because it might get a little warm there. Okay, so with respect to the installation procedure, here are the details on the mounting bracket. The SkyBox extends 10.5 inches above the top of the mounting bracket, so that's the other thing you might want to think about if you want to have the top of the SkyBox aligned to other objects in the room. You would set it there. The boss extends below the bracket by 8.8 inches. And then you want to make sure that you have 6-inch clearance on the tops and the sides of the SkyBox. And if you're installing outdoors, make sure that you have 36 inches of clearance below the bottom of the boss. Okay, so installation procedure, and this is all from the quick start guide. Number 1, hang the mounting bracket. 2, put those fins or wings or mounting brackets on the back of the boss. Secure them there. Hang the boss onto the mounting bracket. We live in earthquake country here in Washington, so you could put the retaining bolts into the boss here. Take your 3/4 inch conduit stub, slide that through the top of SkyBox, grab a friend, get them to help you hang SkyBox up on the wall. And then you can also secure the SkyBox up at the top there if you like. Okay, weights of SkyBox. The SkyBox inverter by itself, 88 pounds. Boss weighs another 24 pounds, and the mounting bracket adds 4 pounds. Tools needed for working inside SkyBox. It's a 13mm socket wrench, number 2 Phillips torque driver, flat blade torque driver, 6mm Allen wrench, and of course you want to have some sort of digital multimeter. Conduits and connectors, pretty simple, straightforward. Here's a picture of our install here in our applications lab. with the knockout sizes and breaker sizes, that sort of thing. So this is all ready to go, and let's see, we've got PV turned on. And I kind of touched on this earlier, I'll say it again here. You only need to install either battery or a grid to get a SkyBox up and running and started, and that's it. Do one of those two connections and you're done and you can move on. Of course, you know, we probably want to add PV, want to add backup loads, and you've got this handy channel here for communications or low voltage wires. Okay, it's simple to connect the BOS into the inverter, drop in connections there, and the quick start guide shows you where you want to land things like Ethernet cable, because this is an internet connected appliance, or you'd want to land the battery connection communications cable if you were connecting this to an LG Chem 48 volt residue, for example, or the battery temperature sensor if you were connecting it to a lead acid battery pack. Oops. Torque specifications are printed in the wiring box, so you've got those right in front of you handy when you're torquing things down. They're also in the quick start guide. There's a battery temperature sensor. That's the same as what we use with all the rest of our OutBack products. That connects into the lower right-hand corner of the power metering board up in the inverter. On this slide, we're showing you where to connect the battery management system. And again, that's a CAN bus communications protocol. It connects via RJ11 up into this battery monitoring port. If you'd like to connect rapid shutdown, it's easy enough to do there in the terminal block. Again, this is our power metering board, and that terminal block is located right there. So you'd connect 4 and 12 into your rapid shutdown, and then if you were doing stacking, you would also then connect your outputs to the next system in the stack. If you'd like to connect external current transducers, that's easy enough to do too. Leg 2 goes to 2 and 10, leg 1 goes to 3 and 11, and then those get placed out at your main service entrance. So you buy a 200 amp CT or 100 amp CT, depending upon service entrance, and run those over to the SkyBox. And that's it. Next, we'll cover software overview, how to do the setup, installation, commissioning. That'll be November 29th. From 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Pacific time. You can go to outbackpower.com resources, OBT training webinars to register. The other thing you can do if you'd like to learn more about SkyBox is you can register for our energy storage for the solar professional course. Those are taught every other month in Phoenix and every other month at our headquarters here in Arlington, Washington. The next one is going to be in Phoenix in December. So I'll go to outbackpower.com training for a full class schedule and to register for that. So in summary, SkyBox allows you to take charge of your energy. It provides PV and battery backup delivered seamlessly in one simple, easy to install, one box solution. Complies with all grid connection, interconnection limitations and rules. So California Rule 21, HECO 14H, et cetera, gives you time of use energy optimization so that you can use your battery and your PV when electricity is expensive. It is DC coupled for highest efficiency. Remote monitoring is available via Optics RE, the industry leading solar plus storage optics monitoring site, and SkyBox is compatible with the widest range of battery chemistries, from your LG Chem 48 volt residue to all OutBack Power lead acid batteries and any lithium ion battery pack that's 48 volts and that behaves like a lead acid battery. So with that, I'd like to thank you again for your time, and I will take a moment to start perusing the questions. If you've got a question, that you haven't asked already, now would be the time. Andrew Larson asks, how many days, years of data can be stored in memory? Great question. On the daily output tabs, that is stored for the past 9 days. On the monthly, that's stored, for the weekly, it's stored for the last 9 weeks. For the months, it's stored for the last 13 months. And for the years, it's stored for the last, I want to say it's 11 years, but I'm not 100% sure. We can check and get back to you on that sometime in the next 9 or 10 years. Okay. George asks, when would SkyBox be 24 volt and 250 volt AC, or 230 volt AC? George, we have no plan to do that right now. We're not entertaining the discussion. It's something that we have the ability to do with the platform, but we're exclusively focused on 120, 240 and 60 hertz right now for the North America residential market. So. Bill asked, when will stacking be available? Bill, I'm a software and a hardware guy. So my answer to that is very specific. Stacking is going to be enabled via firmware. All of the hardware that we are shipping now fully supports it. We're not going to turn on the stacking firmware until we've got the installation licked, until we've got the installation simple, straightforward, and clear. And it is our #1 priority. We do quarterly software releases. We're doing a software release in December. If for some reason we miss that software release with support for stacking via firmware, then it will be in the next or the subsequent one firmware release whenever we can get it out to you and get it right. We're not going to release that software until it's right and until it's simple and straightforward. Mario asked if we're providing a longer battery temperature sensor. Not that I'm aware of, Mario. I know you could make your own. Why don't we have a conversation with sales at OutBack.com about what you need with respect to a longer battery temperature sensor. I assume you want to put the inverter further away from the batteries. But yeah, let's continue that discussion and figure out what exactly you're looking for. Richard asks if the SkyBox can operate on generator input without a battery. Yes, 100%. SkyBox is completely battery optional. You could install it as a simple grid-tied inverter without any sort of battery or generator if you liked as well. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that, but you certainly could. And yes, you could absolutely run it off of PV and generator, no battery whatsoever. Andrew asked about availability and time frame for RSD1 for the SkyBox. Andrew, that's available right now. You can place an order for that and we will ship it to you. Lino asked about international sales and warranty. Lino, we're going to have to get back to you on that. The product is designed exclusively for North America market at the moment. So when it's appropriate, we will have a discussion about international warranty. George asked if we can change the SkyBox in software from 60 hertz to 50 hertz. George, the answer is it sure looks like it at the moment, but no, we've turned that off. So that's something we may be able to do in the future. We certainly have the hooks and the brains to be able to do it. Whether or not we're allowed to from a regulatory and a nationally recognized testing lab point of view is a different issue. So today we've turned off all of the ability to adjust frequency within SkyBox. The only thing that you as a qualified installer can adjust are grid interconnection ride-throughs where appropriate. So you can set it for PREPA standards instead of California Rule 21 standards, for example. Caleb asked about how does the current sensor interconnect with SkyBox? It does not, Caleb. SkyBox does its own current sense and voltage sense where appropriate on its ports. So no need to have a mate, no need to have a separate charge controller. Those would never be connected in with a SkyBox and a SkyBox installation. Nothing against the mate, nothing against charge controllers. We make fabulous ones, but you do not want or need them connected with the SkyBox. In fact, the PV connection into the charge controllers would be grounded differently from how it would be done with the SkyBox. So different beast there entirely. Lino asks about voltage level and whether or not it would accept a wind generator if that were DC, for example. Lino probably would not accept a wind generator. It's designed on the battery side to be bidirectional, and it's designed for 42 volts to 60 volts DC on that port. So happy to look into that more in the future, but yeah, it probably would not connect with a wind generator. Okay, with that, I'll pause for a moment to see if there's any other final questions, but it looks like we're kind of winding down here. Catherine asks us about retrofitting with in-phase microinverters. What we would do, Catherine, is we would take the output from the in-phase inverters and we would bring that into the SkyBox's load port. That would be the optimum way to do it for the purpose of keeping those in-phase inverters alive in case of a grid outage. The other way you could do it is you could just leave them on the main panel where they're probably landing today, but then they wouldn't function in an outage. So what some people have talked about doing, and what I in fact may end up doing on my house, is putting some of the array directly into SkyBox and then leaving some of it on in-phase optimizers to handle differences in roof pitch, for example. So in my particular case, I would have 5 or 6 kW of PV heading into SkyBox, 5 kW of PV coming out of SkyBox to serve backup loads and to charge batteries, and then I'd have an additional 3 or 4 kW of PV on something like an in-phase on a different roof pitch that was still providing extra power for household loads that weren't backed up, and then also those in-phases would be selling back to my particular local utility company. And George, I did say the SkyBox is set for 60 hertz. It is set and locked at 60 hertz. Okay, with that, I would like to thank you again. Appreciate y'all very much. Talk to you again soon. Oh, Caleb asked one last question. What's the maximum microgrid power that SkyBox can support? The rating is about 70 kW system stacking. Great point, Caleb. The SkyBox will do 50 kW. All of the communications, all of the software supports up to 10 SkyBoxes in a stack.